Bang! We're back. Welcome to Hydro and Co. We're talking Super Bowl. We're talking Royal Rumble.
Yay!
So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And I think we should just go ahead and kick it off with the Royal Rumble. So as you can tell, Mr. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. And I got a couple questions for you guys just off the dome here. So, Chase, Kendall, first off, how you doing? Doing good?
Awesome.
Fantastic, bud.
Thanks for
I
asking.
got rained on majority of my day, but I'm here.
Hey, you know what? Now it's time to have some fun.
That's
Now,
right.
for you guys, little prediction. Jey Uso wins the Royal Rumble. Beats John Cena. We already know John Cena's going to Elimination Chamber, so he might be looking to fight somebody at WrestleMania if he wins. Who does Jey Uso pick to face at the main event of WrestleMania?
Gunta.
Gunta.
I think you're right, unfortunately.
I think they're playing into the what the fans online think about Jey Uso. Like, he's like a one liner guy. Everybody just does his little dance, and that's it. And like, if you watch the promo on Raw on Monday, I think Gunther said, what did he say? He said like, if I beat you, I achieved nothing by beating you. I want to beat somebody like John Cena or like CM Punk or Seth Rollins. And he's like, beating you would mean nothing to me. And so they're kind of playing into that. I think that's what's going to happen. And then you're going to have the whole redemption story. Jey Uso's going to win it at Mania, and everybody's going to be, doing their everybody's eating.
It's gonna be Yeetamania, bud. Yeetamania.
Well,
But I think. Oh, all right.
No, go ahead.
I think this is kind of like if Saturday night's main event between Jay and Gunther. That's kind of like Rocky, and then now WrestleMania is going to be Rocky 2, where you're going to see like the fans are behind him, want him to pull it off, takes down the unbeatable, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think a lot of these storylines that are starting to develop now until Mania, a lot of this has become the result of a 2-night pay-per-view. There's so many more spots to fill that you're not having to exactly put your top stars at the end of the card. Because think about it, if this was 6 years ago or 5 years ago, Roman wins the Rumble or John wins the Rumble. Because you're not going to have Roman and John not fighting in the main event of WrestleMania. But now with 2 nights, it's such a big. Every match is really the main event. Like you have your bathroom break matches for sure, but every match gets its own time and creative effort put into it. Like I think the big dirt sheet rumor is you got Punk, Seth, and Roman at Mania. And one of my buddies was talking about how he didn't really understand why that's a match without a title. Like it just doesn't seem like it has that much of significance without a title. And my response was, you can thank a 2-night Mania for that. It's creating these. I wouldn't say they kind of have to fill a card in a way. You got to get as many stars on that show as you can. It's WrestleMania, but I am interested to see what the card starts to develop as time goes on, because someone's got to fight Cody, and I think there's 2 options you could go down. I think John's one. But let's get into John Cena for a second. For me, you have John Cena for the year, and then he's gone. If he wins at Mania in March, what does he do the rest of the year? Now, yes, title reign, obviously, I understand that he could run the table for the year, or I'll present a counter proposal and see what you guys think about this. Seth doesn't win at Mania, or not Seth. Cena doesn't win at Mania. He doesn't win an Elimination Chamber either. Let's say like I don't know, maybe it's like it won't be Sami Zayn, because now KO and Sami are gonna fight for the fucking 40th time at Mania after what happened on Monday night. But let's say Cena does lose, and he goes on and now we're looking at maybe he wins the title at like a SummerSlam that's now a 2-night pay-per-view for the first time. Would you rather see Cena win it now, or do you think it would be better to let it continue to build and build and build, and maybe give SummerSlam a little boost later on this summer?
I would, if it was up to me, I want to see him. I want to see him win Chamber. I want to see him win at Mania because that's one of the greatest of all times. Last WrestleMania, and I think he absolutely deserves it. I think he hit the head on or nail on the head. My bad, nail on the head in his little post show press conference. Like he doesn't have to earn it nowadays. Like what he's done for the company at WWE, he's way past earning that. So I feel like if you give him the opportunity to win at Mania, he can then help elevate for just a few months some of the upcoming stars, like a Braun Breaker could beat him at SummerSlam or something like that to boost their career at that point. And then for the last few months of his farewell tour, he can have those last few matches against some of his older rivals like CM Punk, Randy, if he's back by then, AJ Styles. Those kind of people can be his last few matches. That's my opinion.
I think he wins this at WrestleMania. If he doesn't win WrestleMania, I don't think he wins it at all.
Yeah, that's basically where I'm at. If he doesn't win it at Mania, I don't see him doing it at all.
Yeah, I feel like I think if he wins at Mania, he's going to carry it until his last match. I don't think he loses it. I just think he puts the title on the mat and it's vacated, and then that can start a whole other storyline. But I just feel like if he does win, he goes after Cody. Part of me thinks that he wins it because like you kind of want to give him that, but also like John Cena has in the past couple of years has been like he hasn't been winning a lot of matches, and he's definitely kind of had the role of putting talent over. I don't think Cody needs to be put over any more than he already is, but taking the belt off somebody who is like literally the face of the company, I don't know. I don't know. I think he does win at WrestleMania though. I'm like 51-49 on that though. I'm not there yet. I gotta see how the story kind of unfolds itself later on, but yeah, I think if he doesn't win at Mania, he won't win it at all.
I think if he doesn't win it at Mania, it would be some sort of interference that would propel him into a feud that would last until SummerSlam. Like if Randy came out and interfered and fucking RKO'd fucking John Cena and lost him the title, and then Randy and John feud to try to get a shot at Cody, and then SummerSlam maybe is where they cap it off. Because my thing is I really wish with Cena in his last year, it wasn't calendar, it was Mania to Mania. Because if you really think about it, after like July, August, those last like 3 months, like what really is going to happen in those last 3 months that are truly significant? Is you know what I mean? Because if he was going Mania to Mania, like you have that, still more time, or like even now to next Mania, you got two Royal Rumbles in, you got Elimination Chambers, you have like there's a lot more from a booking standpoint. You could throw a lot more smoke and mirrors. I kind of agree with what y'all are saying. Is like he's running out of opportunities for them to like legitimately book it in a way where he does win and it makes sense. And I think now and SummerSlam are the only two options left at this point.
I think you're actually onto something. I think that I can also see where that last title, because it's to break a record, right? Or to tie the record or something.
And break it.
Yeah. He's tied right now. It'll be to break it.
I think that the storyline's going to go, he's going to spend all year trying to get it, but somebody always like gets in his way. Like Randy could come in there and be like, nah, not happening. And then he finally gets another title shot, and it's like somebody else from the past that he's feuded with. I think it's going to be just constant, just like flashback feuds, and then eventually he'll end up with like new talent. But I also agree with White is like the calendar year, the front part of the year it's like it's so top heavy with like PLEs because you got Royal Rumble to start off January, you got Elimination Chamber, which I still think is a pretty big show. You got WrestleMania, you got SummerSlam, all like that first half. And if you want to put SummerSlam on the second half, you can, but like still after SummerSlam, it's like it drops off. You got what Survivor Series or War Games, whatever you
Survivor
want to call it.
Series is that's the only one that's the last of the big four.
Yeah, so like,
Money in the
but even,
Bank.
Yeah, Money in the well, no, that's
I think that's in like
before
June.
SummerSlam. That's after Mania. Yeah, that's right
Yeah.
after Mania.
So that's still Money in the Bank could be an avenue for them if
That's
not,
a big
if not
one.
Mania.
Yeah, it goes Mania, Backlash, Money in the Bank, SummerSlam.
That's
But
tough.
I just hate that.
So
next
after
year's
SummerSlam,
Rumble,
yes, it takes a dip.
and it really takes a dip for us in the U.S. because next Rumble's in Saudi,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
stupid. I think it's fucking dumb. Foreign pay-per-views suck. I'm sorry. If you want to watch wrestling, come to America. That's my opinion. You can have like Backlash and War Games and shit. You want to put that in France? That's pretty cool to watch on TV. No one really cares to go to those, but the big four should stay in America. That's all I'm going to say. But moving on from that, after the Women's Royal Rumble, we'll talk about that in a second. We had the WWE Championship match: Cody Rhodes versus Kevin Owens. I don't know about y'all, but that's probably the best ladder match I've seen in a while. And there was like no high flying flippy move. Like it was two guys that realistically don't do a lot of like high flying maneuvers. And it was just, hey, let's use ladders as a fucking weapon of destruction and beat the fuck out of each other with ladders in ways that I've never seen an Alabama slam into a fucking propped ladder. Even some of the stuff that they were doing beforehand with some of the ladders, I was like, man, I hadn't seen that spot before.
They had the midget ladder.
Yeah. and what's funny is you missed it, but I don't know if you watched it back, but Pat, when the little ladder came out, he's like, little ladder. Like he was saying it like the whole time. He's like, the little ladder. And it was funny as fuck. But obviously, watching it live, y'all didn't have the commentary to hear. But
yeah, I haven't watched back the whole show. I rewatched the Rumble match, just the men's Rumble match. That's it.
But anybody have anything they want to talk about when it comes to the Cody Kevin? Any reactions to it? We've kind of seen what happens immediately afterwards, feud wise, on Monday. But
the woe was deafening in there, bud. It got loud.
I didn't watch this one because I was doing some schoolwork. So I kind of like was looking at it. Did Sammy like play like the neutral role in that match? Is that why KO attacked him?
He didn't do anything.
Yeah, he didn't help either one of them. He was just kind of there.
I mean, but from what I saw, I mean, absolutely brutal match though. Just absolutely brutal.
It was fantastic. It was a great match.
Yeah. Let's. I want to ask one more question about the Rumble before we move on. You know, for us, who was one person that stood out to y'all that maybe not you wouldn't have thought would have stood out during the Rumble match? Was there someone that you feel like made a really good impression throughout the match?
I thought Braun Breaker was the star of the match, but it didn't completely shock me because that dude's just a monster. So my answer that kind of surprised me but put on a show was Penta. If he didn't have that controversial feet hitting, if you just look at the rest of the match he was in, he was doing great. He was putting on a show.
Yeah, I was gonna say Penta as well because I mean he's been solid ever since he came to WWE, except for obviously the feet thing, which is crazy. It looked like he just had a mental lapse, and he was like, "All right, my feet's about to hit the ground, and we're gonna land this thing," and he was like, "Oh shit, I didn't
yeah."
See, I'm so surprised when that happens in WWE because like based on the rules, like if Penta just wanted to push one foot off the ground and keep the other one bent, it isn't an elimination, and it doesn't look as bad as you like hitting both feet.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised they don't do more of those spots where they like eliminate them and they just start hopping on one leg and get back in the fucking ring because like both feet got to touch the floor, bud.
Yeah.
And I am surprised that there wasn't like a special elimination moment other than Logan, but Logan's wasn't really that cool.
I mean, Speech was pretty cool.
Yeah, I honestly
Speed
was
really
like, is
fucking
Speed
cool.
about to stand back up and like run around and then, or was a fucking Otis gonna put him back in the ring? And
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe Otis fits him back in the ring. Yeah, but nah, he said, "Fuck you."
Yeeted his ass.
Oh.
I do think Penta played the workhorse role in the Rumble. There's usually always one that lasts 40, 50 minutes. I think Joe Hendry was one of my surprises. Like, I jumped out of my chair when that music hit. I was fucking
So did the
insane.
whole arena.
Yeah. I'd heard so much about it that I didn't expect it because I was just like, like, yes, he's in TNA and there's the partnership, but like, what's the real reality that this is going to happen? And then say his name and he appeared.
I do want to say I wish they would have brought him out a little earlier because literally the very next entrant was Roman Reigns. So Joe
Yeah.
Hendry got about 5 minutes total of run in that match before he got thrown out. But his
Yeah.
entrance was awesome.
For sure. Well, speaking of entrances, speaking of surprises, the Women's Rumble, honestly, for me, the first 30 to 40 minutes wasn't great. But it picked up a lot at the end. Obviously, Charlotte won. Charlotte's my favorite female wrestler ever, so I was super excited for that. Not a whole lot of surprises, other than Jordynne Grace and Nikki Bella, which I don't consider a surprise. I was just like, cool.
A lot of NXT people.
A lot of NXT people. Trish Stratus was also there, but she's been back so many times. I'm just like, cool. Like, you might as well just had Lita in it too, because that's the same reaction I would have gave. But was it Roxanne Perez was the one that lasted for fucking however long, like an hour
Yeah.
and something?
She lasted an hour and 7 minutes, but not too far behind her was Liv Morgan.
Yeah, I was gonna say
they both lasted an hour and 7 minutes. Roxanne just lasted 47 seconds longer.
Honestly, I'll say somebody that I was impressed with that I would never give credit for most of the time. It was Nia. I hate Nia Jax, but how they used her in that match was different and was interesting because about 3/4 of the way through before Nia came out, my wife made observation of like, there's a lot of people in the ring right now.
Yeah, she's cleared house.
And she was like, they need to eliminate some people because like it got to like 25 and there was like 15 people in the fucking ring. And then Nia did the spot where she fucking just threw off fucking 6 people and then eliminated like 6 more. Like, it was a pretty cool sequence. And it, for someone who's been the big woman in WWE for so long, it was like a unique way to still put her over. So I thought that was interesting. So for you guys, was there anything that came out to you guys that was anything notable?
By the way, I haven't said it yet on the show. I was there, so I'm going to speak of someone who was in the arena. I think everybody was so hyped up for that. Like, you could like feel the energy, and people were just so ready for that to start. So whenever the women's rumble started, and we got Io Sky versus Liv Morgan, 2 of the favorites to possibly win that match, the energy was great. Vibes were high. Everybody was screaming, going nuts. And then I could see where, like, watching on TV, you might have thought it started boring, but the energy was great in that building. So even though the next like 10 to 12 entries were not so hot, everybody was still like up here when it came to the energy level. So just wanted to like throw that out there. I could see on TV where you might have thought it started slow, but in the arena, everybody was just fucking ready to watch it.
Yeah. I mean, it started with, like you said, it started with Io Sky and Liv Morgan. Then it goes Roxanne Perez. What's her? Lyra Valkyria.
Yeah,
Chelsea
the next
Green.
however many years. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Chelsea Green, B-Fab, Ivy Nile, Zoe Stark, Lash Legend. Then Bianca came out.
Bianca. Yeah.
And then it wasn't great. But obviously the biggest pop of the night went to Alexa Bliss, who came back in a shocking fashion because it was just reported that she and WWE had like they had issue with like contract, and so all the story that they had kind of set up for, they were going to throw out because they couldn't agree with anything. But I liked the jacket that she came out with; it was very nice. And Nia Jax eliminated 9 people.
I was gonna say she eliminated like 6 at once, like at one,
Yeah.
like in one move, eliminated like 6 people.
Yeah, I will say though, I saw a social media post about that. It looks so whack. Like if you're like right there on that
Yeah.
side as a spectator, you're just watching that shit. Everybody's kind of like they're like, all right, ready, 1, 2, 3. They all fell.
Speaking of Alexa, I really wish they'd have put her at 30 instead of Nikki Bella.
Nikki Bella
'Cause-
was a letdown.
Nikki Bella was a huge letdown. I think a lot of people were thinking maybe Becky Lynch. But like Alexa Bliss, I feel like got a huge pop, and then by the time she got eliminated, I'd almost kind of forgotten she was in the match because so many people were in the ring. It was so hard to really watch one person because, truthfully, in ring wrestling, I think the women's rumble was better. There was a lot more spots and a lot more just, I think, wrestling that happened in that. With the men's rumble, there's so many big names. It's like get your power moves in and then get out because they didn't really keep as many people in the ring. But with them, they were able to do a lot more storylines with like the Zoe Stark group versus people, and then they had like Lash Legend and them versus Bailey, Bianca, and Charlotte. Like they had cool moments that they were able to put in the ring. But I really do wish that Alexa would have came out at 30, or Charlotte would have came out at 30. Like Nikki Bella, who fucking cares?
It was cool, but
Our-
like
Our row was thinking at 30, it was either AJ Lee or if it wasn't going to be that big of a return, we were thinking Jade Cargill. We were not thinking of Nikki Bella at all.
I said, continue that story because I think at the time, I think Naomi and Bianca were still in the match, so
They were.
they could have revealed who did what to her. But Nikki Bella comes out, and it's like, all right,
I wonder if they wrote Bianca off TV because of an actual injury.
me Jade.
Jade, yeah.
Whenever she initially was, like, I seen a tweet of her like on the car or whatever, that little thing. I read a comment or a few comments that said she was pregnant. I don't know if that's true or not, but now that she wasn't at the Rumble, it could
Yeah,
be.
because if it was a work, I don't see any reason why you would put Lyra Valkyria in the Rumble over Jade Cargill, even though
Right,
she's
which
mid-card champion.
WWE, which they put Jade and Bianca in a tag team for a reason. They were going to have one of them turn on the other and then fight at Mania. That'd be like a dream match. So I feel like if she was coming back, she would have came back at the Rumble. So yeah, she's either hurt or pregnant, one of the two.
And speaking of AJ Lee, I honestly think AJ Lee just doesn't want to fucking wrestle anymore.
No, this was the most hyped up for her return ever. If she didn't come back this year, she's probably never coming back.
Yeah, I think she just doesn't give a shit.
I will say though, I think my MVP. Who is my MVP? I want to say like Jordan Grace because like Jordan Grace is she's jacked.
Fucking, have you ever heard her talk?
Yeah, I have. I actually saw. She's popped up on my TikTok quite a bit.
The roids are fucking talking.
She's massive. I don't know who my MVP would be because like they're all kind of even. Everybody has like 1 or 2 eliminations. I think Maxine Dupree had a cool little moment there. She's only there for a minute, but she got a nice little pop too, from what I could hear. I think Piper Nevin knocking out Chelsea Green was funny. We'll see what happens with that one. But I like the NXT girls, man. They were all pretty solid.
I think they did the best with what they had when you have no Becky Lynch, Rhea's champion, and so is fucking what's her name?
Tiffany Stratton.
Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, I mean,
who I'm assuming Charlotte's gonna fight at Mania.
Probably. I mean, but like Io Sky, Liv Morgan, Roxanne Perez, thumbs up to you guys because like they carried that match for a long time. And for Roxanne to even be like the 29th like the last person to get eliminated. I think that's like a huge like momentum boost. And if I had to guess, she's probably going to get called up at some point because like that's how they view her. Like we were like, oh, could she do it? And then of course,
after Mania call-ups,
we'll see
usually when they happen. Raw after Mania. But do you guys think Charlotte faces Tiffy or she face Rhea? Because the promo on Raw, I think, helped keep it up in the air. I think that was the goal on that, was to make it feel like it wasn't already a done decision.
I'm not sure.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm 50-50. I could see him going Tiffany and trying to possibly boost Tiffany's career further, or I could see him running it back with Rhea for a third time to settle the tie. So I can't really tell.
I think the worst thing they could do though is to have Charlotte win. Charlotte can't win.
Yeah,
If
no.
Charlotte goes to Mania with Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte's winning. Charlotte's pulling a Hogan.
That'd be a mistake.
Charlotte's pulling a Hogan.
That would unintentionally probably bury Tiffany Stratton.
And that's the thing, is I don't think Charlotte gives two fucking goddamn shits. Charlotte's there to win titles, and that's kind of what I like about her. She don't give a fuck. But she can
We'll
back
see,
it up
buddy.
in the ring. I think Rhea versus Charlotte would be the best match.
I was gonna say, I see a lot of people on Twitter begging not to see it again. Me personally, I want to see it again because they put on a show every time they go out there.
There's so many people that hate Charlotte, and I think it's just because she's won the title so many times. But at the same time, she's never held the title for very long. It's not like she's fucking Roman Reigns who held it for 3.5 years. Like, and what I like about Charlotte the most is, like, she was one of the first female wrestlers of that new generation that could actually fucking wrestle and actually work. And her versus Rhea is probably the two best workers in the women's division. You could argue Bayley or Bianca too, but Charlotte, when she's going good, like, she's one of the best workers in the business.
I agree.
Yeah, but stop giving her titles when she comes back from injury.
Yeah. Hey, queen, man. All right. Now, speaking about titles, there's one title that's still left to be uncrowned this year. And that, my friend, is the Super Bowl. Sunday night will be either the end of an era or cementing a dynasty. Eagles Chiefs in New Orleans, greatest city in America. And we will have two teams facing off that have a lot to prove for very different reasons. So, Chase, I'm going to let you just cook. I'm just going to say this in advance. You're an Eagles fan. Kendall hates the Chiefs. So I'm going to talk about the Chiefs. I'm wearing red today, ironically enough, just so there is some sort of representation of what the other side could do to win the game. Because otherwise, there would be nothing talked about the Chiefs. It would be all Eagles. So, feel free to go ahead.
I hate when you do this because I have no idea what I'm going to talk about. But I do want to say that I feel like, so a lot of NFL like analysts and all that fun stuff made their picks today. I think only 7 out of like, it was like 80 or 90, maybe I think 128 people. I can't remember. One of those numbers. It was a high number. Only 7 people picked the Eagles to win. And I think that's a mistake because I feel like the Eagles have more paths to victory than the Chiefs do. I think ideally for the Chiefs to win this game, the Eagles are going to have to beat themselves at some point, whether it be Jalen Hurts throwing a pick, Saquon having a fumble, something along those lines. The defense just absolutely forgets how to play. Or just like the last time we played them, we punt the ball, special teams shit themselves. You know, one of those things that happened last time has to happen again. And what's crazy is all those things that happened last time, they still only beat us by 3 points. I think that the Eagles are a much better team than this Chiefs team is. And I think people are just kind of holding on to, well, they won 2 years in a row. I got to pick them. I can't bet against them. But I think if you haven't looked at the Eagles, I think that you really are like doing a disservice to yourself because I feel like this team is one of the best teams I've ever seen. And you know, what's going to happen is what's going to happen. If you watch the Commanders Eagles game, the exact same thing is going to happen. The Commander or the Chiefs are probably going to get the ball at some point, first quarter, whether it's after we score a touchdown or they win the or we win the toss and we choose to defer. The Chiefs will move down the ball down the field relatively easy, and then we'll probably hold them to a field goal. And then the second possession, same thing will happen, and then Vic Fangio will just adjust. He likes to see what the opposing team's offense does. He has a game plan in place, and he completely switches it based on what's happening. And I just think that this Eagles team just has so much more going for it. If you do like a position by position, I think the majority of the spots will go to the Eagles. I think that Patrick Mahomes is a fantastic quarterback, but I don't think he has a fantastic team around him. And I think that's what's going to hurt the Chiefs this time because they are a one possession win merchant. You know, they have beat awful teams by one possession, including the Raiders. Sorry, but
We're on the same side here, bud. Come on now.
yeah, but like it's just to kind of bring home the point, dude. Like you think the Raiders suck. I think the Raiders suck. But hey, Pete Carroll, future's bright.
Chip Kelly.
Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
At least he's not the head coach.
Yeah.
Hey, he had top 10 offenses every year in Philly. I just want to say
At
that.
least his
Well-
personality issues are overshadowed by Pete Carroll being a G.
Whenever you run 100 plays a game, you're bound to have some type of offense. But yeah, I feel good about it. You know, I'm sure as we talk about it, I'll bring up more things that I've seen. The one thing that I will say that I can think off the top of my head that's going around is I can't think of his name. Warren Sharp, I think is his name on Twitter. It's that like at Sharp Football. He's been sharing this post that Jalen Hurts is the worst quarterback under pressure, worst quarterback against the blitz. However, if you actually look at the tape, look at the stats, Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL against the blitz this year and against under pressure. So I think that the Spags hype that's going around is a little crazy because like they haven't faced a team like this. And my last point, and then we can kind of all jump into it, is everybody thinks that the Chiefs are going to stop Saquon. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher against them this year. Well, let me tell you something. The Bills would have had 100 yards on the ground against them. James Cook had like 6 yards per carry. And then the Bills were like, you know what? Fuck this run the ball shit. Let's pass the ball. This shit's boring. And then Joe Mixon was having a great game against the Chiefs, and they said, fuck it, we're passing the ball. Guess who's not going to stop running the ball? The Eagles. They're not going to stop running the ball. I don't care what's going to happen. They're not going to stop running the ball. And the Chiefs aren't that great against the run, especially if you look at the past couple of weeks from the postseason and the regular season. I don't see how they slow down Saquon, but we'll see.
All right. For the Chiefs, I think the key to this game is to keep it close. You've done it all year long. You just got to keep it close going into the fourth quarter. Because I will say this, both teams, late game pass rush, solid. If you're the Chiefs, obviously I think Spags is going to want to force Jalen to have to throw the ball. Don't know if that's going to work unless you can force some long third downs. But then that means you have to be super efficient on first and second down to get Saquon running the ball. I do think the same argument for Fangio being able to adjust is even more of an argument for Spags. Spags is the best defensive coordinator in the NFL. I'm just going to say it. Spags is great at what he does. Vic Fangio is also great at what he does. I think those are the two coaches to watch. Like, yeah, the offenses matter a lot, but whatever defense adjusts the best wins this game. So I think your two coaches to watch are probably Vic and Steve. And I think either one, like, I don't think it's as one-sided as the media is making that out to be. Like, I could very well see this being a final drive, final possession game, But I will say this: if it's a blowout, I think the Eagles win. I don't see the Chiefs blowing out the Eagles because the Chiefs haven't blown anybody out all year. It's just not in their DNA this year. They're winning. They're using everything they can, and they're playing smart football, and they're getting a little bit lucky. And that's sometimes what it takes to win. Shit, my team won a Super Bowl on an onside kick coming out of halftime. Like, it takes a little bit of luck to win a Super Bowl. I mean, you can think about the fucking Patriots getting the fucking interception on the 1 yard line. Like, there's gonna be every Super Bowl. There's one moment. Think of Jimmy Garoppolo missing the touchdown pass to the back of the end zone. Like, there's always that one play that's like that just determined the Super Bowl. And based on how early or late in the game that is I feel like it's going to be a big determining factor. I will say this: if I'm an Eagles fan, I hope to God it doesn't come down to Jake Elliott, because that motherfucker has been struggling.
You're telling me, buddy.
The kid has for a long time has been solid, but something this postseason has been tough. And Harrison Butker has been fucking green light automatic all postseason. So I'm just interested to see how this game plays. On paper, Philly's the best team, but it's all about who rises to the occasion when the Super Bowl gets played. And the Chiefs, I think for the first, this is the first Super Bowl where I'm like, they're underdogs. And what's funny is I also think this is last year when they were playing, we were already talking about number 3. Oh, they could win and go to number 3. No one's talking about number 4. This is the end of the road, one way or the other. The dynasty cemented or ends Sunday. So, interested to see what happens.
You done? Okay, good. The Eagles are about to play 4 quarters of absolute fuck you football. We're going to put our hand in the dirt and we're going to run forward. Whether it's a tush push, whether it's a handoff to Saquon, whether it's a toss, I don't care. They're going to run the Chiefs into the ground. Chase took my point because I already looked up those same stuff. Teams stop running the ball against the Chiefs and it comes back to fuck them. The Eagles have proved they will not stop running the football, and they will keep running the football until you are dead. So Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, if you're out there listening to this, and the Eagles offensive line, 4 quarters of fuck you football, and you'll be holding the Lombardi Trophy. That is all I'm going to say.
Thanks, Kim.
Let me say this, playing devil's advocate here. That's all fine and good. I think that very well could happen. But let's say Chiefs go up, I don't know, 21-7 going into half. Oh. Let's just say they scored early, and then both offenses stalled, and then the Chiefs scored right before halftime, and the Eagles got them 1-2 in the second quarter. Going into the third quarter down 2 scores, the plan's got to change a little bit.
No, they don't.
You just said a minute ago in your speech that the Chiefs are not blowing the Eagles out.
No, and I don't think 2 scores is a blowout. Let me be clear. A blowout would be if the Eagles win 42-14, 42-20. You know what I mean? Like more than double. I very well could see it being like 42-14, like just absolute fucking ass whooping. But I could also see it being like a 24-27 game, which is probably more realistic. Because let's be real, I know everybody. There's going to be some calls. There's going to be some flags. There's going to be some questionable calls. It happens. It's just the Chiefs cannot avoid controversy one way or the other in these games. So it's going to happen, and it'll be interesting to see when it does.
Yeah, the win part's the most important part because, the win last time was whenever we stopped them on third down, and we had like another minute to play, and they said, that looks like holding, and they threw the flag. Look, James Bradbury came out and admitted that it was holding. I don't think it was holding. I think that was good, clean football. They did it all game long, and they decided to throw that flag there. Awful. So, to answer your question, if the hypothetical was a thing, I trust Jalen Hurts to pass the ball too. I think anytime he's been doubted, let's be honest, he's been doubted this whole week too. He's nowhere near Patrick Mahomes. if Lamar and Joe Burrow were in the NFC, they'd be racking up conference championships. I think every time that Jalen's been doubted, he's kind of proved everybody wrong. And it's funny because on media night, on opening night, he's walking in and he looks up at the TV and they're talking about how, Jalen Hurts is holding back, and he kind of looks at it and he's like, interesting. And I think he's playing with a massive chip on his shoulder. The training camp after we lost, his lock screen was a picture of him walking away with the Chiefs confetti just dropping down on him. He wants to win this bad. He needs to win this. I don't think he's going to play like a man possessed. That's my guarantee. And if we do come out of half 21-7, I think we win the game. I do. I think that Saquon can break off a 60-yard touchdown anytime. So run the ball. It doesn't matter. Pass the ball. We got AJ Devontae, Dallas Goedert. Pick one. So, I feel confident. I don't feel too confident because I don't want this to come back and bite me in the ass. But I feel pretty good. I think Wyatt's correct. It's either going to be a close game or it's going to be a very deciding victory. It's going to be like a couple possessions. But one thing I do want to bring up though is a lot of people are talking about Vic Fangio's record against Patrick Mahomes. I bet you can't guess what that record is.
Like 7-1.
No, it's 8-0. So Patrick Mahomes, according to some people, owns Vic Fangio. Let me tell you what happened in those games. So before I say the points per game that he got from those offenses, let me tell you his quarterbacks in those games in chronological order. Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Teddy Bridgewater, Drew Lock, Tua. Those, and I guarantee you, one of those two games. It was the freezing cold last year. I just point that one out. The offense averaged 11.9 points per game in those games that he played the Chiefs. Terrible offenses, and and Patrick Mahomes' EPA has dropped every time he plays Vic. Patrick Mahomes also hates playing Vic Fangio style defenses. So I feel good. But we'll see. I hope he wins.
All right, Kendall. Who are you picking to win the Super Bowl?
Don't you say a fucking word.
I promised my good friend Chase, I will not pick this game. So with that being said, I'm not picking.
Chase, you picking the Eagles to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah. If I want to do a score prediction, I'm going to say like 34-21.
For me, I'm going to watch this as a fan. Like, it's a win-win for me either way because my wife's going to be happy if the Chiefs win. My buddies are going to be happy if the Eagles win. I get a jersey if the Eagles win. But at the same time, it's kind of like, if the Eagles win, I fucking love that Saquon gets a ring. Like, Saquon's been such a good running back for such a long time, and this year's been his best year. And if it gets rewarded with the Super Bowl, I feel like that propels him into, one of the best running backs of all time. Yep. What?
I want to go ahead and throw it out there, put you on the spot. Don't pick based off of the jerseys and the picks, because Jake's pick to me that he texted me was, I'm picking whoever Wyatt doesn't. So no matter if you flip, he's flipping.
Well, I don't know.
So it's all up to you, but you got to pick it right to get a jersey.
I know. I got to figure out to get a jersey, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna stick with my pick. I'm not gonna. I made a pact that I wouldn't flip it, even though I didn't know that he was just under the condition, which makes sense. But
what do I say to that?
Yeah, no, I don't. I'm not gonna flip though. I'm gonna stick with my pick, but I don't know. I think it'd be cool either way. I think it'd be cool to get Saquon to get one. I also, anytime Patrick Mahomes gets closer to Tom Brady's legacy, I'm a fan. because I just want to erase Tom Brady's legacy on this league with Patrick Mahomes, because I can't stand Tom Brady, and he played for the Buccaneers, so I can't stand him even more. I actually have no problem with Patrick. I know a lot of people do. I know you have a big problem with him, but I like some of the guys on that team, and I'm gonna be happy either way. This is the first Super Bowl in a while where I could literally am okay with either way that it goes. Usually I have some sort of like want for the other team to win. Like when y'all played the first time, I was rooting for the Chiefs full out. Now I'm kind of either way. So I'll have the Eagles winning. 27-24 Jake Elliott redemption field goal for the win.
I would shit myself.
Jake Elliott for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You and Bryce are just sitting there fucking crying. Fuck.
I'd be mad as fuck if it comes down to that.
But I guess
Your
we'll
lover
see.
boys will never be. They will never be Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
Hey, so let's do some fun before we wrap the show up. Let me do this real quick. So I'm gonna hop on Underdog real quick. Let's do some over unders for the big game, because we haven't done this on this show, but I usually do it on the link lineup. We'll do that. We'll do that. So big game. Start with the one that I think is most interesting, and kind of depends on how you feel about the game. Also, use the code link lineup on Underdog to get a deposit match up to, I believe it's 100%, up to $1,000. Saquon Barkley, higher or lower than 115.5 rushing yards?
Over.
Oh, all right. Next up, Patrick Mahomes, 251.5 passing yards. Okay.
That's a good line. Because like
Yep.
based on how close the game is, like truthfully, I mean he could probably. I'm gonna say over. He'll probably throw for like 260, 270.
I'm gonna save mine for later. Next up, we'll do two Jalen Hurts. Actually, we'll do a third or a second Patrick Mahomes. 30.5 rushing yards.
Under.
With
that defense, I don't think he's going to be able to pop off and show them.
All right. Anyway, 1.5 passing yards or passing touchdowns. Sorry, not yards. For Patrick Mahomes, higher
under.
or lower.
I'm going to say they get it on the run. I'm going to say under too.
Wow. All right, Jalen Hurts, 213.5 passing yards.
Over. Easy. Let's go.
I'm saying under.
Yeah.
I'm saying he's throwing for like $170.
So you're one of the people that are doubting him.
No, I'm not doubting him. I think they're going to run the fucking football. Him included. He'll probably have 60 rushing yards.
Good. That's my next question. 39.5 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts.
I'm hammering the fucking over.
Yeah.
Push tushes a lot. 10 yards.
He's also over under one anytime TUD. That's not throwing, obviously.
Over.
Over one?
Or is it's half. It's half. Yeah.
So push. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Travis Kelce. Oh, boy. Here we go. 62.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Over.
Kendall's speaking my language, but
yeah.
I like him right now.
I'm not even second guessing it.
Xavier Worthy, 52.5 receiving yards.
Under.
Who's Kenyon Mitchell going to be on?
He plays primarily one side. If I had to guess, I mean, Xavier Worthy, he doesn't play. He moves more than anybody on the team, I think. So, it could be Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean on D-Hop?
I'm not worried about D-Hop.
That might be barbecue chicken.
That's going to come back to bite me in the ass.
Cooper DeJean might get fucking cooked.
Nah, he'll be fine.
I love Cooper DeJean, though. He's not a safety.
52.5, higher or lower?
Who?
Xavier Worthy.
Under.
Under.
Thanks. AJ Brown, 70.5 receiving yards.
70 under.
Over. Over.
I think Devontae Smith is going to be the hero of this game if there's anyone from the receiving side.
Dallas Goedert, 52.5 receiving yards.
I'd probably
Over.
take that.
He kind of come along in the playoffs. Ever since he stiff armed Buddy into oblivion, he's been. Kareem Hunt.
When he catches the ball, it goes for 20 yards most of the time. Like it's.
Yeah, he's also kind of been Jalen Hurts' like safety valve past couple weeks. Kareem Hunt, 43.5
Under.
rushing yards. Okay.
Under.
Devontae Smith, 50.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Over.
All right.
Samaje Perine over 1.5 receptions. Over.
Here's a fun one. Kills want to say under, but I think it's fun. DeAndre Hopkins, 12.5 receiving yards.
Over.
Under.
Last one I think I'm going to do is Isaiah Pacheco, 24.5 rushing yards.
Over.
Under.
All right. So Kendall's predicting a blowout, and Wyatt is predicting
Predict nothing. I didn't pick.
explosives. Oh, he didn't predict anything. You said offense is going to be shining. That's all you said for one team.
I didn't pick.
You
So
didn't pick anything.
before we go, I want to play another game with you guys that Kendall can actually participate in non-biasedly potentially. So have y'all seen the game where someone has to bet how many of something they can name and then they have a minute to say
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
many? Okay. The topic for today, and I might do some more of these every now and then, is Super Bowl MVPs.
Shit.
I can name 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
4.
5.
I mean, think about how Super Bowl MVPs are usually awarded. I mean, if you know who's in the Super Bowl and who won, you probably know most of
So
the time.
like if a player won multiple, does that
You get
count
them
as
one time.
Oh, shit.
Because if I said fucking Brady, there's 7 right off the bat. Or not
That's 6.
10.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
All right, Chase, you want to start? You want to do the timer so I can stay out on the list?
He gets a minute.
Yep, a minute to name 10 Super Bowl MVPs. I have the list of every single one, so I should be able to quickly tell you yes or no. I'm so
All right.
glad to be on this MacBook because otherwise this would be impossible because I would be 15 seconds behind.
All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
Does it start whenever I just name the first one?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Tom Brady, Patrick
1,
Mahomes,
2,
Cooper Kupp,
3,
Malcolm Smith,
4, Well-
Drew Brees,
5,
Peyton Manning,
6,
Aaron Rodgers,
7.
Big Ben Roethlisberger,
Checking. No.
okay, Eli Manning,
8,
Russell Wilson,
No.
Marshawn Lynch. Oh, that was Malcolm. No, Malcolm Smith.
You already named the Seattle
Yeah.
guy.
Damn. Let's go with
15 seconds.
Kurt Warner.
Yep, 9.
That's
Damn,
time.
dude, I was one short.
Say Nick Foles, dude.
Hold on.
Nick Foles.
Oh, fuck. I forgot Nick Foles.
Say Nick
Um,
Foles. You got it right here. I mean,
So some notable ones that you missed: Nick Foles, Von Miller.
I forgot about Vaughn.
The Steelers ones was Heinz
Santonio
Ward
Holmes.
and Santonio Holmes. Ray Lewis won one in Baltimore. Some Hall of Famers that you could have named: John Elway, Terrell Davis, Steve Young, Emmitt Smith, Aikman, Montana, Rice.
Yeah, I was thinking my child, like from the day I was born on. That was really fucked me there.
Marcus Allen, Raider.
Yeah, no shit.
So, but yeah, hey, that was close.
Chase, you could have got 10, dude.
I could have got 10. I wasn't really thinking because I was going to go. I was going to go Terrell
I'm
Davis.
disappointed that I didn't get 10.
Yeah, I was going to go Terrell Davis, Patrick Mahomes, Nick Foles. I would have got it. I would have figured it out.
On the spot, though, like I was sitting there trying to think for some reason in order. Like I was trying to go like, okay, recent to keep going back.
Yeah.
I
You did a good
forgot
job,
Cooper
though.
Kupp won the Super Bowl MVP.
I'm surprised he got that one. 'Cause Malcolm Smith also was one that I was surprised he got.
Well, I mean, those kind of just stand out in my mind because they're not quarterbacks.
So you ought to just started naming fucking quarterbacks
Oh,
on teams I know
I
won the
would've-
Super Bowl.
Fucking hammered quarterbacks.
Yeah. But all
Well,
right,
after
guys.
I got past the more recent ones, I was just guessing quarterbacks.
Hey, did Deion Branch win?
I think so.
I think that's the year that we lost to him. That's why I asked.
2 seconds. Yep. Sure did. 11 catches for 133 yards.
Yep, whooped our ass. Whooped our ass.
All right. Well, with that being said, that's going to be the end of Hydro and Co. for the Super Bowl and Royal Rumble prediction and recap episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next week to recap the Super Bowl. We'll have a really happy Chase, or we might not have Chase at all.
Yeah, if you don't see me, you know why.
And after this week, we will begin our baseball coverage for the 2025 season. So that will be kind of exciting to get started from that. We're, I think, 50 days exactly out today. So we have a little bit to predict divisions, predict players, tier list off some positions before the MLB season starts, and then be able to talk about it on a week-to-week basis from then on out. So if you like our football content, you'll probably like our baseball content too. So Chase, Kendall, as always, thank you for being on, and go Saints.
Hey, fuck the Chiefs and go Birds.
Fuck the Chiefs and Raider Nation.